We are now going to go back once again to our planned aggregate expenditure formula. We revisited this earlier and introduced the real interest rate, showing how it had an effect through consumption and investment. Now that we've got a function for the real interest rate, it's worthwhile to go back and sort of put that in and see what effect it has. But we don't want to make matters too complex, so we're going to use a very simple policy reaction function. So you may remember that we had a look at the Taylor rule, which gave us a policy reaction function with inflation and the output gap. But we just want to use this very simple one here where we ignore the output gap and any other factors and just use the inflation rate. Now this is a fairly reasonable thing for us to do. Remember, our Taylor rule, allowed us to get something like the following. We had inflation, and then we also had the output gap. We said that we could have, something like G equal to a half and H equal to a half. And we expect that inflation and the output gap will actually move together. So if inflation is high, then the output gap will be positive, and if inflation is low, then the output gap will be negative. So we actually should not get too different a real interest rate from this than if we had this with, say, G equal to 1. That's assuming that we don't get something like stagflation, which is very nasty and would really throw this off. But for the most part, a simplification like this does not make this too inaccurate. So we're